How you doing, YouTubers? We're back. We're picking up not where we left off, but we got another more serious issue to talk about. There have been people making videos, PipefriendCHS is one, about the concern on the federal bill on interstate transportation of tobacco products. Now, I haven't seen the other ones, but allow me to read you the news excerpt from the congressional publications to give you the precise information on this. Washington. The House of Representatives passed legislation by a wide margin Thursday to give the Food and Drug Administration sweeping powers over tobacco products which kill an estimated 400,000 Americans each year. Despite the 298-112 House vote, though a closer battle is likely in the Senate between public health advocates and some tobacco industry supporters, Senator Richard M. Burr, Republican of North Carolina, the nation's leading tobacco-producing state, has threatened a filibuster. And while the cigarette leader Philip Morris supports the legislation, other big tobacco companies oppose it. Senator Edward M. Kennedy, a prime sponsor in the Senate, plans to introduce a version of the House bill this month after a 2-week congressional recess. Mr. Kennedy will work for speedy passage, said his spokeswoman Melissa Wagner. President Obama also strongly supports the legislation, the Office of Management and Budget said Wednesday. In the new administration's first official statement on the issue, cigarette smoking is the leading preventable cause of death in the United States and is a contributing factor to scores of diseases and conditions inflicting misery upon millions of our citizens, the administration's statement said. Further, tobacco use is a major factor in driving the increasing cost of health care in the U.S. and accounts for over $100 billion annually in financial costs to the economy. As passed by the House, the legislation would set up an FDA office financed by industry fees with powers to restrict harmful chemicals in existing tobacco products, including nicotine and possibly, after further study, menthol. The FDA would also be empowered to approve or reject new tobacco products and to expand marketing restrictions and warning labels. Representative Henry A. Waxman, Democrat of California, and a main sponsor of the legislation, said that it had taken more than a decade to regulate tobacco since the FDA first sought that power and the Supreme Court ruled it needed congressional authority. We've come to what I hope will be a historic occasion, and that is finally doing something about the harm that tobacco does to thousands and thousands of Americans who die each year and stopping the attempt to get our children to smoke. Mr. Waxman said during a 2.5-hour House debate Wednesday evening, "It has taken us far too long to get to this point." Last year, the Senate did not act on its version of the House bill. The Senate was facing the triple threats of filibuster, a Bush White House veto, and a tight timetable with only 1 month to act before adjourning to the election. But the Senate did have 60 sponsors last year, including Barack Obama, and now at least 7 more Democrats are in the chamber. The House's quick action gives the Senate plenty of time to act this year, said Matthew L. Myers, president of the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, the lead Washington advocacy group for the bill. The legislation also supported an additional 1,000 or so public health, medical, religious, and other organizations. Nancy Brown, chief executive of the American Heart Association, said Thursday that she thought the Senate would act quickly. This has certainly been a passion of Senator Kennedy's and a legacy that he can leave to the public health of America. In the Senate, Mr. Burr, who has threatened a filibuster on the measure patterned after the House bill, has introduced an alternative bill that would promote reduced-risk tobacco products rather than cracking down on new and older products. His home state, North Carolina, has an estimated 10,000 high-paying jobs in tobacco manufacturing and includes J.P. Reynolds Tobacco and Lorillard Tobacco, the nation's second and third largest cigarette makers. Now, how much time do we have?
I don't know. You might be nearing it. Why? Go ahead.
What I have to say here is, get on Google, get on the internet, find out who your senators are, write these people. Don't sit around.
They all have contact forms on their websites. They're real easy to fill out. Just put your name in. Just make sure you're in their district. Even if you're not in their district, write them. And if you're in North Carolina especially, write this guy and tell him to do the filibuster. I wrote him. This is bullshit. And we got to do something about it. We got a lot of people here on YouTube. It's about time some of this is done. People are discriminating against tobacco smokers, and pipe smokers are falling prey. We're doing nothing to anybody and anybody else, but it's all or nothing. We all got to get behind this and defeat it. So take care, folks.
Get on those forms and get them in.
Get them in.